YouTube, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Today, guys, we'll be talking about the deck that got me to Master 5. Now, I was just testing out the sprites with the new double cross and the sprite sprint, but it was very fun to actually use it on the Testudo deck alongside the sprite. So, let's go towards the Testudo deck first. Maybe you'll want to try that one first. So let's go for that. So this is the first deck that I actually used with the sprites from Diamond 5 up until Diamond 3 or Diamond 2. It's either one of those. But anyways, there was only like twice I've actually summoned Testudo on the field during my opponent's turn. And even so with that, it was really hard to actually use this type of deck within the current meta alongside the bestials, the tier elements, and whatever deck that I actually encountered. But even so, the one that carried me out the whole game was the evenly matched, and basically the whole amount of resources that I have with the sprites. But if you are interested with the Testudo deck with the sprites, I will gladly put this one in the comment section below. So yeah, the Testudo, if you're not familiar with that, neither player can spell summon monsters with 1,800 attack or more. So bestials, the branded cards, tier elements that has that kind of monster attacks, so that they can't summon to the field. So that's the effect of Testudo here. It basically is a floodgate. So, but yeah, we'll talk about that later on with the replays. But anywho, we're going with the Melfi sprites, okay? So the Melfi sprites, I've used this from Diamond 2 up until the current rank that I am, which is Masters 5. So things that I really want to take note here, or would like to inform you. Double Cross is the best card there is for the sprite. Although it's a trap card, it's not really a problem. If you're going first, you're automatically on a win condition if you have the Sprite Double Cross. Spell summons any monster from either graveyard to a link monster it points to. Basically a link to monster that it points to. So Pure Elements has problems with the Double Cross once it is activated. What else? The new Sprite Sprint allows you to dump the angler to the graveyard and then spell summons the 2 nimble beavers that is in your deck. There are some cases, there are some people using 2 nimble anglers. I don't want to make the same mistake of drawing the 2 copies of nimble angler and then not using its effect. So that was one scenario that I don't want to happen again. The additional for the Nibiru in this deck allows me to go into what you call this, if ever I'll go into a maxi and they're trying to go for an OTK by summoning a ton of monsters to the field, Nibiru is always your go-to card that you can actually use. Now this monster won't be summoned if your opponent is using sprites, but there are decks nowadays with the branded tier elements, Dragon Links with the bestials, a ton of decks that doesn't really revolve around sprites. So Nibiru is one thing that you need to keep in mind if ever you want to add into your deck. If you don't want Nibiru, just go for a 3rd copy of Triple Tactics, very much useful, or a 2nd copy of Red or Carrot. It's either one of those cases. But anywho, I'm very happy with this deck. If you want to try this out, just to grind your way up into the Masters, why not go for it? Yeah, I had a ton of fun with this deck, and basically, I'll showcase to you guys in the replays. I think that's only one replay for the new Sprite and Melfi deck. But anywho, let's get into the replays and I'll see you guys in the outro, okay? Alright guys, so here we are with the 5 replays, and to start that off, we have 1 Testudo, 1 Sprite Gel, 1 Triple Tactics, 1 Smasher, and 1 Imperm. So, like I said earlier, there are some downsides of having a Testudo in your deck. You'll sometimes draw into it on your starting hand, so that's one thing there that you don't want to do. Just prefer going with the Sprite, but if you're still going for fun, I would advise go for Testudo. It's really fun. Anywho, so we have Testudo. Let's start our game. Our opponent is going first with Rhinoheart to the field, sending a copy of Merly. Merly will fuse into a copy with 1 copy of Habits on hand, so that's 1 tier element down on his hand. He summons Kid Callus. Now I would imperm the Rhinoheart, but Kid Callus is much more important because this will negate him from getting a hold of any tier element card. He will set 1 back row and end his turn there. So that's 1 showstopper here that I basically did. So we normal summon our Jet. He will chain his Maxi. Nevertheless, it's perfectly fine. We go for Triple Tactics, control his Get Callus, spell summon our blue, get a copy of our Jet since we haven't used the effect of Jet yet. use the effect of Jet, get a copy of Gamma Burst for an OTK later on. So we go for, I think I dumped a copy here. No, I didn't. What did I summon here? Oh, I summoned Jet, because I was trying to bait out the negate for the back row. Yeah, I almost forgot. And then I use the elf and the blue for a gigantic sprite. So now that we know that it was just Call by the Grave, so we're free to move and going towards our OTK. So there we go, swap frag to the field, sending a copy of Ronin Toadin, use its effect, bounce to the hand, spell summon it, sending our Testudo to the graveyard. We don't even summon it because we are going for an OTK anyway, so might as well. So that's it. Go for Sprite Sprint, sending a level 2 to the graveyard, going the Angler, or go to the Angler, spell summon 2 monsters on the field, or 2 level 2s, and we go for, I think, that one, yeah, the Onibimarish Soul Sweeper. Banish 1 monster, and then go for Gamma Burst for an OTK. So that's easy enough to actually use since we're going second. If you're going first and you have the Testudo, much easier. But anyways, let's go to game number 2. Alright guys, so here we are with game number 2, and like on the previous build, we have also a copy of Testudo on our hand with 1 blue, 1 starter, 1 evenly matched, and 1 double cross. So we don't need to search out a double cross, so we are really good for this matchup, summoning Testudo to our field. So let's go start. We go for starter first, but getting a copy or beating a copy of Ash Blossom, spell summoning Jet, spell summoning the blue. For the Jet, we go for a Smasher, the blue getting our red, spell summon the red, and we go for our Sprite Sprint, dumping a copy of our Angler to the graveyard so we can spell summon our Nimble Beavers to the field, and then we go for Gigantic Sprite. So Gigantic, summon to the field, spell summoning Swap Frog. Swap Frog will bounce itself to the hand. After dumping a Ronin Toadin, spell summon it once more, sending the Testudo to the graveyard, and then sending another copy of Swap Frag to the grave. Now we are going into the Sprite Elf so that we can use the double cross effect later on. So there we go, Sprite Elf, spell summon with Swap Frag. Swap Frag will dump another swap, and then Ronin Toadin will spell summon itself to the field, banishing 1 swap in the graveyard for more materials. Now we could actually, no, I could have actually go into an IP Masquerina for the Gigantic Sprite, but it's much more easier to have a ton of materials on the field, or for the red anyways. And nevertheless, we also have the Smashers in case anything goes to worse. Anywho, so once he draw his card, we use the effect of Double Cross, spell summon our Testudo from the graveyard to the arrow that Elf is pointing to. So that's basically it. Our opponent can't do anything. And there we go. Although he can normal summon though, but doesn't really matter. We go for Smasher, banish his monster, and that's basically his only normal summon there. And then go for blue, get a copy of another monster for the next turn if ever. And that's it for game number 2. Let's go for game number 3. Alright guys, so here we are with game number 3. I think this is the part where we don't have the Testudo anymore. If I'm not mistaken, let me see the extra deck. No, this is still the Testudo. So the 4th and the 5th is actually the Melfi Sprite deck. So anyways, we're going first with 1 Angler, 2 starters, 1 Gamma Burst, and 1 Imperm. We're going for the blue. Sadly, we were Ash Blossom. Nevertheless, since we haven't normal summon, we go for normal summon our Nimble Angler. There we go. And since I think that's the only copy that we had for Nimble Angler, we go for Gigantic Sprite, since that's our only play there. Special summoning our blue, getting a copy of our Double Cross, and going for Sprite Elf next. Sprite Elf will then spell summon our blue, and then set 4 cards on the field. So we don't have the best of hands, so there are some cases like this will happen. Some cases also that they'll use Call by the Grave on the Testudo in the graveyard, so things like that happen. So I do prefer just going with the normal Melfi Sprite deck if you want to use it. Anywho, we still have a good starting field, or a good end board I mean. Gamma Burst, the Smasher, 1 Imperm, and of course the Double Cross in case things happen. Anywho, our opponent's gonna go first. We are dealing with Adamantipator, so it's just really good deck to go up against. So like I said earlier, sometimes Cold Blooded Grave happens, so yeah. Prepare for that. We'll chain with our starter. Since he is basically on monster effects, we'll summon the red to the field. So he's gonna attack my elf. We'll use the Gamma Burst, and then bada bing bada boom. Doesn't have any more monsters. So that was a very what you call this? That was really bad on my part if ever he has evenly matched. But safe to say we were lucky. Anywho, so he would go for normal summoning Roxys and go for Meow Meow Moo. Use the effect of Roxys to get a copy of, I think, the Dropsies, which we won't allow him. So we go for Negate from the red, and he will spell summon a Gigantes to the field, going into an... I was hoping into a Nightmare Unicorn or a Sprite off, but he was going for Osa here. Nevertheless, it's perfectly fine. We still are good. So on the third turn, we spell summon our blue, get a copy of our red, or our carrot, I mean, because we only have that. Go for double cross, we'll summon our Gigantic Sprite to the field. Go for banish. Since it will prompt the effect if ever we send it to the graveyard with an effect. So that's still good. There we go. And we have 3-2, 3k, and that's basically game. Not really the best of choices here for the Testudo deck, but it was still fun to actually use. Anywho, let's go for game number 4. Alright guys, so here we are with game number 4. I forgot to mention that, yeah, I think I deleted the 4th game. So this is actually the 4 games on the Testudo deck, which I still actually won for some reason. Anywho, this was Diamond 2, basically. And there's only one last game for the Diamond, one against the Sprite Melfi deck. So basically, still, I don't know how I managed to win those games with the Testudo. Anyways, so we have our opponents going first. We have a starting hand of Angler, 1 Cold Blooded Grave, 1 Starter, 1 Smasher, and 1 Evenly Matched. So that's really good for Evenly Matched here. Opponents going first. Are we going up against Despia, or the new branded Despias here? So the thing about the branded Despias, they don't have any negations or spell and trap negations. So Evenly Matched is good here. So there we go. I was hoping he would go into a more fusion play style. But anywho, it was perfectly fine, and he did not even set any cards or whatsoever. So we're still good actually. So there you go. We're safe for any Ash Blossom or Maxi since we have Cold Blooded Grave. Like that will happen. Okay, so Carrot first. Get that copy or use the effect of Starter, and then he'll chain with Max or Ash Blossom. We go for Cold Blooded Grave, and then we proceed. There we go. We'll summon our blue, and we're chained with the Magnum up. It's perfectly fine. We can just banish it with the use of a Smasher later on. But anyways, we'll get our Jet summon to the field, get a copy of our Gamma Burst for an OTK, and I think we go for an Exi Summon here. Exi Summon to Gigantic Sprite. So if ever he has more Visuals on hand, he can't activate the effect because of Gigantic Sprite. Sending a copy or special summoning Swap Frog to the field, bouncing into our hand, and with the effect of Angler, special summoning the 2 Nimble Beavers in our deck to the field. There we go. And so we're summoning our Ronin Totem. Go for Sprite Elf. So we're summoning back a copy of Swap Frog. And that's our last Swap Frog, I'm guessing. Yeah, that's our last Swap Frog. That's it. And then we basically spell summon our Swole Sweeper. Banish the Dusk Dragon here. Then go for Smasher using our Swap Frog, banish, and then we go for Gamma Burst for our OTK. So we haven't used our Evenly Matched here. That's perfectly fine. We got the game. Alright guys, so this is now the correct deck for the Melfi Sprite. So pay attention about this gameplay here. So we don't have the best of hand. 2 Jets, 1 Nibiru, 1 Evil Match, and 1 Imperm. So not really the best card on a starting hand. But if you're going first anyways. But anywho, we don't have any interruptions, so we're free to move. Normal summon our Jet, Special summon our Jet, get a copy of Double Cross. Going for our Sprite Sprint, so the new Sprite Sprint. So dumping our copy of Angler to the graveyard, spell summoning 2 Nimble monsters, and then going for this Gigantic Sprite. So Gigantic Sprite to the field, special summoning our... I think I summoned blue here, since that's the only choice that I have here. And I don't want to waste the Sprite Sprint because it has a unique effect later on. Anyway, so blue on the field, get a copy of our Carrot, special summon our Carrot. And we go for... what did I go here? Oh yeah, the Melfis. I forgot because this is the Melfi. So Melfis, get a copy of our Catty. Set our Double Cross on our Imperm. And our Catty once more to the field. So that's basically a really good card, or a really good board right here. Opponent is going for Battle Face, hitting our Catty. We use its effect. And then use the effect of Melfi with the Force, negate its effect, and it cannot attack, so that's really good. And then we finally go into, instead of going for Joyous Melfi, we can go for Herald of Arclight, just to check what deck heals he's going to use. So we're going up against the Naturia here. Use the effect of Naturia Camellia, we will imperm that, of course. And we don't want to bounce back a monster, basically, because he will still use it later on. But anywho, he will go into a Synchro Summon into Byron the Floor, which was quite dangerous for me actually. But since, like I said earlier, the effect of Sprite Sprint, if ever another monster is special summoned on the field, I can detach from materia from any XZ monster on the field, bounce back that card to his hand. So it's gonna negate my monster. Luckily, there we go. Herald can actually negate and destroy that card. And then look what will happen next. So there you go, we destroyed our monster there, and yeah, he's giving special summon another monster, which of course with the Double Cross, like I said earlier, spell summons any monster from either graveyard and spell summon it to any Link 2 monster on the field that its arrow is pointing to. So there we go, he will special summon his Hugin, discarding 1, getting his field spell, but we won't allow him to get the field spell. Baron for a negate, pop the card, and then he'll use the effect of the Sacred Tree, getting a copy of, what you call that? The Blessing. There we go. And we're still good anyways, we're still good. Setting 1 back row, and on our turn, we use the effect of the Gigantic Sprite, and luckily we have the Swap Frog on hand, so that's really good. So he's going to use the effect of Blessing here, spell summon the Camellia on the field, which of course, our choice here for Gigantic Sprite is red, of course, because he'll use the effect of Camellia. So negate Camellia and destroy, and we are free to actually go for an OTK here. There we go. Normal summon our Swap Frog, sending our copy of Ronin Totem, and we go for Cat Shark here, double the attack of Gigantic Sprite. There we go, we have 3-2. Spell summon our monster, then go for Sprite Elf, spell summoning our, I think I summoned here blue. I summoned here blue, get a copy of Jet, and then Gunburst. Or I just still actually game anyway, so I don't need to actually go for Gunburst. So that's it. That's basically the 5th game, and hope you enjoy this kind of content. Let's go to the outro. So, those were the replays and those were the deck profiles. Hope you enjoyed this kind of content. Like and subscribe for more contents like this. Hopefully the next deck profile we'll tackle is the new Dragon Link Bishel monsters. Anywho, I'll see you guys in the next video, and bye-bye.